What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 10K on the Bay, my journey to 10,000 listings. What's up, guys? We're going to get back into the shortcuts series. I apologize for taking a short break, but we are back on it. This is shortcut number 5 out of 30. If you want, you can purchase all 30 tips on eBay right now in the link below, or you can just watch the series on YouTube for free. But let's get into it. The shortcut that I want to give to achieving your ideal eBay store right now is to attach the habits that you need to extrinsic rewards. And I think this is important because intrinsically, I don't think it's natural to list, right? There's not a lot of people who wake up and have an inkling inside to start listing naturally. For me, listing is unnatural. And I think that treating it like a job has done wonders for me, at least mentally. It's a necessary evil. And the way that I look at it is you should be able to do a listing, if you have the photos, in 3 minutes or less. If you're using more than 3 minutes to research the item and then enter your photos in and list it live, you're taking a little bit too much time. So if you try to get your time down to 3 minutes, and it's easy to spend 10 to 20 minutes researching an item. Now, maybe that's worth it if you have something super rare or vintage, but for most circumstances, that's too much time that you're spending on the research part, which is going to slow you down. So if you can get down to 3 minutes per item and 2 minutes for the photography, then you're looking at around 5 minutes per listing. And I would consider this fast enough. You do not need to be faster than this. Of course, you can see some huge stores, they've gotten their listing processes down to 90 seconds to 2 minutes. And what that looks like, in case you're wondering, is 1 or 2 pictures, a template with very little description, bare bones, item specifics, regurgitated basically is the item description, plus a basic average price, 1 or 2 photos. That's what a 90-second listing would look like. On the other end of the spectrum would be people who are doing replenishable items. Let's say you're selling a Yeti water bottle, and you spend time researching how thick is the market, how many of these sell every 30 days, how many other competitors are there, how many people are doing this, and you want to enter that market and get an idea of the specific market. You may spend an hour researching the market on Yeti if you bought 500 of them and you really want to understand how to price them competitively, how fast you want them to move. For example, if none have sold less than $30, you wouldn't price. That's a waste of the market. If people are probably going to buy at $29.99 if the market is strong, and if there's only a few other sellers, you might even price it at 30, 32, 34 and wait for that buyer to sell out so you can regain that market. But it depends on how many of those sell. So I want you to tie listing things to extrinsic rewards because listing is not natural. So the first way to do that is to do other people. So for example, there's a scale that tweets your weight. So you get on it every morning and it tweets to your friends and family and followers what you weigh. So if you say that you have a New Year's resolution to lose weight, but every day your weight goes up, then you're failing, and people don't want that. But on the flip side, if every single day were to tweet that you've lost an ounce, right, and you lose a pound every 16 days, that's pretty awesome, right? But you don't want to fail people. You don't want to make yourself accountable to other people to help you stay on track. Another way to do it is to create an accountability group or a mastermind or a group of people to help you stay on track. You can either do it as an accountability one-on-one type of deal, or you can do a group of people that you meet with each week. I have a mastermind group, but you can meet with anybody that you want to do. This is an extremely valuable service because you do not want to be the person who shows up every week and didn't do what they said they were going to do. No one wants to be friends with that person. No one wants that person in their group. You're going to always at least try to do more than the weakest link in the group because you want to be motivated and move forward. And obviously you're going to want to be productive, right? So you can be accountable to somebody else. You can be accountable. It's difficult to be accountable to yourself because what's easy not to do is just as what's easy to do is just as easy not to do. So moving the accountability, the extrinsic value to somebody else is better. So if you want to tie your listing and sourcing, for example, you want to do the basic rule that I talk about with Tino, the Soul Advisor, and lots of other YouTube gurus is just 100 items a week at $20 profit, right? So you have to basically find 100 items, list them, photograph them, ship them, customer service on them. Break it down into how much it takes you per time. I think if you are a rock star eBay seller, if you count all the time together, you're doing at least 5 items per hour. And I just went over earlier that the processing part of it, you should be at 12 items an hour or faster for processing them. And the rest of the time you need to spend looking for them. Some people have this entire system automated. They have people looking for them. It's called a buyer. They have people listing, listers. They have photographers. And they have shippers. That's called basically a brick and mortar retail shop. There are millions of those worldwide. It's basically a definition of business, having people for every single part of your business. Okay, now here's one thing I want to really stress. It is very difficult and stressful to have your family member as an accountability partner because you've already had a long day. If you come home and your significant other asks you, like, how many items did you get up today? For how much profit? And how many did we sell? You've already been doing that for 8 hours, and now you have to come home and explain it to your significant other. What happens if you had a bad day? What happens if you had a good day? In all honesty, your friends and family probably don't care at this point that you're a reseller. They're not interested. They have their own issues to worry about. I recommend when you come home with your family, talk about the best thing that happened to you that day, and don't even talk about things that are challenges or issues. Talk about that with people who care, like other people who are going through those challenges. Get a small group of friends that you can talk to, share ideas with. Go on Instagram, share ideas there, share what's good, share what's bad, be transparent. That's really going to help you be motivated to move forward. But in my opinion, you should not be accountable to your family as in checking in, because it's what happens if you didn't do it, then your family is going to be disappointed in you. One extreme example of that is a lady who did do that. She put a chart on the shower that said, honey, I want you to quit your job and hang out with me all day. In order to do that, I need to list $2,000 worth of profit a week because we need $8,000 to $10,000 profit pre-tax to take care of our kids and for you to work with me. And so basically they didn't have to talk. She would just update that thing in the morning. And it said, like, on the bottom, if I don't do this, then it means then I'm not serious about bringing you home from your job, right? Which is kind of intense, right? It's super intense because what happens if she doesn't list that day? But she put there, no one affects me as much as my husband being disappointed in me. You know, I don't want to let him down. Of all people, I don't want to let him down. I said I want to bring him home from work, and I think I can make this work. Then do it. If you say you're going to do it, then do it. If you want to be accountable to a family member, you are putting up some stress in your family, but it may be worth it. You may want to check it out, but I recommend getting an external person that goes through the same things as you, because they are going to actually be able to give you input on how to improve your situation. Your significant other, unless they do the exact same thing as you in a different store, which is extremely unlikely. I have yet to meet a couple that doesn't live together and they run their separate eBay stores. Maybe that's a perfect world and you meet another reseller that sells something different and you can talk about it all night. But for me, talking about business sort of takes the romance out of the situation. So I would rather talk about something fun. I'd rather talk about basically anything than eBay once my time comes up. Okay. The next extrinsic thing is your bills. So your obligation, your monthly net, right? This is important. Sometimes obligation is the best motivation. If you react really well to bills like me, what you do if you want to start saving is you have a savings bill of $500 you need to pay each month, and you better hustle so you can pay that bill. If that's how you look at it, for me, growing up, my parents didn't teach savings. They didn't have any of that type of financial sense. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I didn't have that. Like, my parents had a negative savings rate. So looking at that situation, right, I'm going to have to, for me, I react really well to bills, but I don't really react very well for investments. So I've changed my mind. So my investments are bills. When I want to invest, let's say in Bitcoin, right? How do I figure out how to get extra money for that? I bill myself and then I figure out how to get it paid. So my boss always said, if you want to figure out how to make an extra grand, go buy a Porsche. buy a Porsche, your payment's going to be $1,000. You're going to figure out how to pay for it, unless you want the repo man to come take it from you, and you don't. So whenever I wanted to make more money, he always recommended that I buy something super expensive. Now, that being said, if I could talk to my previous self, I would say the thing that I should have purchased was an expensive investment, not an expensive liability that takes money out of my pocket. But again, young and dumb, not around the best influences. So hopefully I can save you guys a ton of time, and not, because I think people work better with extrinsic motivation, even though people talk about what's inside. I'll get to that in a second, but I'm just talking about ways to improve yourself extrinsically right now. Appreciate you guys stopping by. This is live. If you can hit the like button, I'd be super appreciative. Thank you. Okay. The next one is sort of this FU money concept. The amount of money that you would need to say to your job, I don't need you. And it's job optional money. In my opinion, it's like $2,000 a week. If you make $2,000 a week pre-tax, you can legitimately say you do not need your job. $1,000, if you have a bad week, and you don't sell a lot of stuff as a reseller, you're in trouble. And I don't want you to dip into your savings. I don't want you to be in financial issues. So I think that you should really aim for at least $2,000 a week. So when you're doing bad, you still make plenty of money. You can pay your bills, live well below your means, in my opinion, because you're going to always need a little bit of extra if you want to give something. So the FU money, I recommend setting it up at least $2,000 a week, so that you can really get into your something motivating. Also, this is just going to go into a little bit of a next idea, which is you need a goal that's exciting. In my opinion, replacing your daytime income is okay. It's exciting because you don't have to work, but it's not exciting as far as you can't really do much. And I agree with a lot of financial gurus who say that if you only make $100,000, like if you've made $100,000 before, you're going to pay 35 or more of it to tax. And if you buy a mortgage and you finance a car, well, I recommend you buy a car in cash. But if you finance a car, right, and then you have insurance, food, and a couple kids, there's nothing left. Even at $100,000, unless you live in the middle of the country where things are really, really cheap, $100,000 doesn't give you any type of freedom, in my opinion. It's a little bit like, still, I don't want to compare it to slavery, but you're still working for the man generally. $100,000 is still kind of a grind. I've done the math on like what it looks like for the millionaire lifestyle. It's more like $350,000. It's like $20,000 after tax. Then you can really start doing some stuff. You want to go on vacation, you want to take a month off and not worry about it, you better make $20,000 a month, because otherwise you're going to be in, you don't have a cushion in case something goes wrong. Like I said, the only thing constant is change and, inconsistency with things. You never know when you're going to lose your job. You never know what's going to happen. So I recommend you make way more than you need. Okay. So there's a statistic that I think is true, especially from the amount of emails that I'm getting. For every one email I get from someone saying, Chris, I'm making $10,000 a month right now. How do I get to 20? How do I get to 30 grand? There's probably 100 emails saying, Chris, I'm in really significantly bad situation. I have only a month left of income before I'm back to zero. I'm living on credit cards. My student loan debt is insane. There's 100 to 1. It's insane. And 75% of people, I don't know how many people in the chat or listening right now can relate, 75% of people have less than a 6-month runway. Meaning if you were to lose your job within 6 months or less, you would be completely out of money. And that is scary. So I'm worried about that situation. And for me, one of the sexiest things that I heard was this guy said that he had 15 years of savings. So if something were to happen, he could continue the lifestyle that he had with his family and 2 kids for 15 straight years. And I thought, wow, that's freedom, right? You can have 15 years to find a new job. That's pretty cool, right? So I really like that concept of having a lot of savings, having some income, and I appreciate people who have built up a savings like that, where they can live for 15 years without a runway. That's just really cool, and I admire that kind of stuff. To me, that's super impressive. I love when people share stories like that, because I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Okay, I want to talk about something that's maybe a little controversial, and I just want to share it because it's this freedom of lifestyle thing. I hear people say, I'm free to do what I want to do. I can do what I want on my own time, etc. That's what I'm aiming for. And a lot of the people who say, I want freedom, I want lifestyle, I want to do whatever I want, those people never end up getting it. Okay. And the reason is because it's very intrinsic, selfish. I'm doing what I want to do to get what I want for me. And usually those type of people are not team players. They're not building systems. They're doing stuff for them, and they don't generally have abundance. The people that I see that have tremendous abundance, that can do anything they want, they help a lot of people. And that's generally the reason why they make so much money. Because if you help 5 people have a full-time job, you're probably making a decent income. If you have a company, literally, you're paying 5 people to live, and you still have some left over, you might be stressed out because you have 5 people's responsibility to look over. But my point is just that you're probably abundant if you can provide that type of situation for people, right? So for the people who I hear saying, I'm trying to create my optimal lifestyle, I want to do things on my own time with the people I want, whenever I want, those people generally don't have that, right? So it's a little bit odd. I don't want to be controversial and say, like, don't just do whatever you're passionate about, but I just feel like the people who only do that are not free. You don't become free to do whatever you want by only thinking about yourself. That's not how it works, right? Like, if I help 100 people in my mastermind group make 6 figures or above net, that's what I'm trying to do, right? So if you join my group and I can help you get there, it's probably going to make me a lot of money in the meantime, right? But if it's designed only to make me money, it probably is not going to work, because people are going to cancel. It's not going to deliver the value. It's not good juju, right? And I'm all about good juju. I'm trying to make it a good, healthy karma, chi in the world. And usually that comes from giving way more than you receive, over delivering. And I see people who do that crush it. Hey, I'm trying to make a better mousetrap. Great. They make a better mousetrap. They're rewarded. They become abundant. That makes sense to me, because you're doing something that really helps people. The mousetrap, people have a mouse problem, your trap solves it better. Great. Or you want to do something faster, you want to do something cleaner, less waste, you have a passion for making the world better. Usually those people are actually abundant, right? And it's ironic, because those are the people who are not like they're not the ones that are materialistic or think about things like, I'm doing it just for me. And that's my point. That's why I'm talking about extrinsic versus intrinsic, because the why you do things, people are talking about the internal why, the why. It's weird. The internal why of giving and being charitable creates the most abundance. So if you look at like Mark Cuban or Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, they have like an insane amount of money. Okay, they don't need to work ever. Why do they still work 16 hours a day? Because they're building massive systems that create and do things. You know, like as an example, I love eBay, but their CEO is not the character that's like trying to take over the world. And there's nothing wrong with the eBay CEO. I have no issue with him. I'm just saying that there's different personalities, and Jeff Bezos trying to take over the world. Usually people who are trying to do that employ tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, 1 million people behind them to create that type of situation. There's like thousands and thousands and thousands of people who've become a millionaire off of Apple, Amazon, all these gigantic companies that serve insane amounts of people with massively useful products, right? So I'm just saying, like, if you really want to up your eBay game, this is an eBay shortcut. Start creating extrinsic reward systems, like helping others, being accountable to other people, right? If you did not go to the gym and because of that, someone would go hungry, you would, I mean, that's not the best example, but hopefully you wouldn't be a jerk and you would just go to the gym so that person could get fed, right? And so this is how I look at things. When you create an external type of reward like that, it's only expensive if you don't use it. So as an example, if you were to hire a personal trainer for $100 an hour, to me, it's only expensive if you don't go. You're providing value to that person. I don't mind paying full price. When someone says, hey, a person is selling me a homemade chutney that I have zero use for, right? And they're like, hey, I put some time into it, and I'm making house letters for people, and I'm custom making them. And I noticed your house does not have letters on it, right? So it's going to be useful to me. I don't mind paying a premium to this person so they can keep doing that, right? I don't need to grind them and say, okay, well, I could go get it at Marshall's. I mean, sorry, at Michael's. I could go get it at Michael's for $7. I'd want you to sell it to me for $5.50, right? I don't need to do that. And that's the kind of abundance that I want. I want to overpay for services that I think people should do. There's not enough craftsmen. There's not enough artistry, right? For me, I like building a giant eBay store that serves 2,000 people's needs per month. I want to sell 2,000 things per month. I want to serve the needs of 2,000 people each month with something that they want or need, or that can help them get to the next level. So this is what I think. And Girl on Fire is in the chat saying, this is why you never act greedy at the thrift store. Agreed. Like, you may disagree with Goodwill's business practices or their corporate philosophy or whatever. If you're at the flea market buying something from somebody, and I hate to always quote Tech and Sports, but he's like, if you are negotiating with somebody in an in-person deal and they want 10 and you're going to sell for 100, you don't really need to say, how about 5? Because like, you're going to make money, right? So let this person have some, he calls it gas money. Let them have some gas money, because they may call you again and develop the relationship with that. Prince, who is my accountability partner, he talks about buying stuff at cost the first time you did it. And that actually, I landed my first drop shipping account doing that. I purchased something full price and I asked them for the wholesale deal and they said, okay. So that being said, I purchased something that I cannot resell at a profit in order to become a drop shipper. And now every single product I list for them is profitable. It only took me buying one thing at full price. But if I had messaged the company and said, hey, I have a YouTube channel, and can you guys send me a whole bunch of stuff for free and I'll plug it on my channel? And by the way, can I also have a discount? And can you drop ship for me? Like, it's a lot to ask in your initial email, right? Build that relationship over time. I purchased something at full price. I asked, what's the process for becoming a reseller and for your goods? And I emailed them from a company email, and they sent me the wholesale list, the non-disclosure agreement. You can't talk about our prices. Here you go. You can't sell it for less than this price. It's called price mapping, where they determine a minimum amount. So I can't compete with them and do it. Like, another example is the 5-minute journal, right? I just sent out 20 of them to my Patreon members who are in my mastermind group, right? And I contacted Intelligent Change, who's the company that makes the 5-minute journal. And I said, how do I wholesale it? And they said, well, you need to buy either 10, 20, or 30, and you get different kinds of discounts. And so I said, okay. I ordered it, and it ends up not making sense because I make a similar amount just, using an affiliate link. So if people want to buy it, they click the affiliate link and they get one. I make 6%, which you guys should all be using Amazon Associates. And if you become an influencer, use Amazon's influencer program or eBay Partner Network. Start getting different types of income in. But my point is, I'm always exploring wholesale options, and I always pay first. When I go to the thrift store and I'm like, hey, I would like to purchase things in bulk, I don't say that unless there's a cart full of stuff that I've already paid for and I'm ready to go. Some people don't deal with the negotiation part. I get it. In fact, reselling is one of the businesses that you don't even have to talk. You could make a healthy living without talking to anybody. You go to the store, you could look for things that are undervalued, purchase them, go to the cashier, smile and nod, hand them your credit card, take it home. I guess you'd have to deal with customer service through the internet, but you wouldn't have to talk to anybody. And I think that is really cool. If you want to, especially if you're in my situation and you've been dealing with customers person to person for almost 2 decades now, I've been selling stuff to people or doing customer service in person. I'm kind of tired of the grind of talking to people, right? Because it's a grind. People are needy, and I've been serving people and I want to serve people the rest of my life. It's just nice to have a break and be able to do it on the internet. And I admit sometimes I go off the deep end when somebody pushes me or something is messed up, which I've learned to become more professional at this point. So I'm working on it. I'm working on being more professional and dealing with people and just taking a break. If somebody says something that gets under my skin, just take a break. Go for a walk, count to 10, go get a glass of water, jump on a trampoline, and hopefully that feeling will go away and you can respond back, thank you. And I think that's actually a great tip for customer service, which is not on my tips, which is no matter what the circumstance is, just say thank you. If somebody says, hey, this item was broken and it was opened and used and it's trash and I want my money back and I want you to pay return shipping. Instead of blowing a fuse, say, thank you for bringing this to my attention. I apologize for your experience. Why don't you go ahead and send it back? Please request a return. Done. And just move on. It's going to happen. It's like it's the equivalent of online shoplifting. Right? It's going to happen. It's a price you have to pay. Don't open a store and expect no one to shoplift. Open a store and build in shoplifting into your business plan, and then do the best you can to avoid that. That's why I like the signs that say smile, you're on camera, because that has been shown to be more effective than shoplifters will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Like sometimes you push someone's button and now it's become their personal mission to shoplift from you because you've put up that thing. It's like the joke that like the DARE program actually caused kids to do drugs because some kids are just oblivious that drugs were even a thing. Once you create a whole program talking about how bad they are, it makes kids want to try it. So I don't know if that's why DARE doesn't exist anymore, but it makes sense to me. In fact, the signs in the Bay Area used to say, when in an accident, please pull over to the side of the road. And that was causing accidents because there was the word accident in the banner. So now it says, please drive safely. Right? So people are like, okay, I'm going to be driving safely today. And hopefully that reduces the amount of accidents. So it's all, kind of wordplay, but whatever you think about, if you keep saying, don't have an accident, don't be in an accident, don't drive off the road, don't hit that tree, don't hit that tree. And you're focusing on the tree. Don't focus on the tree. So focus on driving safely. I really think that does work. I'm pretty excited about that. Okay. So now I want to just tie this all back together to this intrinsic, extrinsic thing. You guys should put this in the chat if you're still listening. What kind of external things would motivate you? Is it accountability to somebody else? Is it only family obligation? Is it health obligation? Because, for example, the scale that tweets people what your weight is every day is more effective than you telling somebody, if you don't change your habits, you will die. A scale that tweets strangers is more effective than just telling people that they're going to die, especially if it's not for a while. Like, hey, if you continue these lifestyle habits, you will die sooner than if you don't. And they're not going to care. They're not going to change their habits, right? So are you motivated to other people? Are you motivated by obligation? Are you motivated by FU money or job optional money so you can do whatever you want? Are you motivated by helping other people? Use those motivations and tie it into your listing habit. If you want to list 100 items a day, there's also people, I'll give you an example from Giselle, my mastermind group. She said she enjoys reading, right? And she hasn't been able to read much. So I said, okay, let's get a book that you want to read. And she's like, okay, I've got one. I said, well, you can't read it until you've done at least one crappy listing, right? And I say crappy listing so you can lower your threshold of trying to be perfect. Perfect is like the enemy of profitability for a lot of people. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be moving, right? And when you start moving the right direction, hopefully you can keep adjusting and start moving better, adjusting more, and then just improving. But you have to start moving. So for her, I told her to put the reward on the other side of her task, which is listing, right? For some people, it's sourcing. They don't like sourcing. And so for them, it's like, okay, you need to source X amount before you can watch Netflix, or X amount before you have ice cream. Whatever motivates you, that's very, very, very important. So Cheryl says that perfect holds her back. It can happen. Don't try to be perfect. Try to be productive. Try to be useful. And productivity is very important. So make sure that you're not just being busy. Busy is a trap. When people ask me how I'm doing, I never say busy, because busy just sort of means like you don't have any control over your time, right? When people ask me how I'm doing, I'm trying to answer purposeful. How am I doing? I'm purposeful right now. I feel like I'm controlling a lot of the different areas in my life. I'm being more proactive instead of reactive, right? I'm trying to move that direction. If you're trying to be perfect, you're trying to make things really clean, it's difficult. From what I have seen, it's mainly about doing it, and repetition. Repetition creates perfection. So if you want to be perfect, just do it more and more and more and more and more often, right? And for example, take 100 pictures every day for a year, and then improve one improvement every day. I remember watching Penn and Teller Fooled, right? It's a magic show, and this guy, he says it's a blessing in disguise, but he was actually in a car accident, and he couldn't. The doctor said, for 3 months you need to stay in the hospital while you rehabilitate. And he said, okay, I'm going on the Penn and Teller show after I get better. The producers have agreed to let me come back on when I'm healthy. So it was about 100 days. So he said, okay, I would like to improve myself, improve this magic trick 1% a day from zero. I'm going to improve a little bit and be ready for the Penn and Teller show in 100 days. And he was able to do it. He was able to have a trick that fooled Penn and Teller in 100 days just by focusing on a little bit of an improvement each day. So, and I'll probably call it after this and take some Q&A. But intrinsic stuff, I think, comes from extrinsic stuff. So this is a little bit deep here, but I'm gonna go for it. So I heard somebody define passion as something that you'd like to do again, right? That's what passion means. Passion means you just did something, you just had a cookie, you're like, holy crap, that was a great cookie. The ratio of chocolate to flour, doughiness was perfect. It was a perfect temperature, right? You had it, it was amazing. You want another one. Now you've started to develop a passion for cookies, right? You have 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 boxes later, right? You may still have the ability to do it, right? You don't want to burn yourself out. If you eat 4 boxes of cookies, you may never eat another one again. My point is repetition. Now, you may have never eaten a cookie before, but because you started eating them one a day, you developed that passion. So I'm going to give you an example of what happened, which was I went to, for example, I wanted a clean bathroom. So what I did was I nerded out on some lean methodology, and I wrote down all the stuff I do for my bathroom routine: lotion, sunscreen, face wash, etc., brushing my teeth. I have a water pick. So I wrote down in order what I do. And at the end of the process, I have wiped down the bathroom counter. So I have a Windex bottle at the end of my process. So I do my morning routine, I spray it down, I wipe it off, and my bathroom looks the same every day, right? So it's like I don't actually even need to wash it because it never gets dirty because I wipe it down at the end of every time that I use the bathroom. And I stole this idea from Paul Akers, who's one of the people that I want to model myself after. So Paul Akers, he's like, you can tell how good a company is based on their bathroom, which is, I don't know if that has any actual relevance in the real world, but his bathrooms all look the same. The process is always the same. Everyone that uses the bathroom, no matter who they are, follows that routine, so it's never dirty. So what does this have to do with anything? What this has to do is basically that extrinsic thing that I wrote down of wanting to have a clean bathroom. My girlfriend says it's because of her. She wanted me to have a clean bathroom, but I remember me wanting to have a clean bathroom. I'm not sure if it was because of her or not. But now, even without that piece of paper, I'm like passionate about having a clean bathroom, right? Even though before I didn't care. All of a sudden, this passion has been created just from repetition of trying to make it work, trying to adjust things. And I just think sometimes you can learn how to do a passion, right? And I just like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of advice, especially from Gary Vee, talking about follow your passion. And I feel like you can create passion in something that you do. Like, for example, another person in my group, Audrey, she has a habit of working out every single day. She's worked out every day for years. And people are like, how do you do it? And she's like, for me at this point, it's harder to not work out than it is to work out because I feel weird not working out. Right? And so if you're able to do things regularly, you start to feel weird without it. It becomes a part of you. So that's why I'm recommending for you guys a daily listing practice, at least one crappy listing a day, right? This is from BJ Fogg, the writer, or a philosopher, or whatever he is. He just said one crappy sentence a day. That's how he became a great writer. Because when you're sitting at your desk, you just wrote it. You might as well keep writing, keep doing it. If you can get in the habit of doing one listing a day, when you go there, you're going to continue to do it. You're going to continue to get ka-chings. Your store is going to be on fire, right? You want to go in there. An active store is a happy store. I believe that. An active body is a happy body. It's all related, right? You want to just get in there. You want to move, get the habit going. And now I'm going to give you guys, or I'm going to do a little bit of a Q&A, but I just think that you can create passion with repetition. Repetition is key. If you tie repetition to an extrinsic external thing, somebody said it's eccentric. I don't think that's the right use of the word, but again, I might be using extrinsic the wrong way. You guys can correct me if you want. Let's see what people are saying. Repetition kills creativity. Does it? Does repetition kill creativity? I feel like repetition creates creativity because you do. I guess it depends. If you're doing the identical thing over time, it can kill creativity. I like the idea of repeating the same task, but not the same way, doing it a little bit better. Let's see, you're inventorying prior purchases. Wild Cherry, that must be your significant other, shoots. That's a great idea. I recommend you have a different station for each part of your process. So like if you have an inventory process, photography, shipping, all in different areas. I am now in my new eBay area. So this is unlisted stuff right here. Unlisted stuff comes here. I draft it. My photographer to the right does the photographs. He then hands me the memory card. I plug it in, drag all the photos into the listings and hit submit. Or if I don't feel like listing, I just drag it into a Dropbox and my virtual assistant lists for me. And I just added Poshmark. So now my process is that way. Let's see. A month's orders in a week. Wow. So Duncan sells, if you guys can reach out to Duncan if you want privately or on his Instagram, he can put his Instagram in the chat. He sells a lot of unique postal history, which is a very cool category. And it doesn't take up very much space. So if you don't have a lot of space, you may want to sell collectibles. Let's see, in terms of cleanliness and neatness, we can't put all in the same bag. I agree. So Polishek is saying that you can't do the things necessarily always the same way. And I agree. This is why people say brush your teeth with opposite hands each day, because that's going to trigger your brain into, new ideas. Let's see. Sorry, Susan. It's a little confusing tonight. But basically the point is, I think that you need to tie something external, like your friend or somebody you don't know, and just be accountable to someone. Don't just do things on your own. You want to be accountable to someone, something. That's why people grow up after they have a kid or they have a pet, because that person or cat or dog relies on you. Wow, first time you found an Arc'teryx. Awesome. Let's see. What do I suggest for bookkeeping and accounting software? I recommend Outright, GoDaddy, or you can use QuickBooks, or you can be like me and make your own. So it just depends on how you do it. Again, the IRS really does care about total in and total out, and you pay tax on what's left. So from a very basic standpoint, I'm not a CPA. However, I do have a really expensive accounting program now that, or an accountant that I have unlimited consultations with. So I've decided that with my Patreon members, I'm going to offer unlimited tax advice from a licensed CPA. So what that means is you're going to ask me all your tax questions. I'm going to call my accountant on a recorded line, ask these questions, and then play it back to my Patreon members so that they can listen to the tax advice from that person. Of course, it's not legal advice, like, because they're not talking directly to you, but I can ask the question for you and have a licensed CPA answer. I think that's important. And the reason why I picked this accountant is they have experience with YouTube income, Patreon, eBay, Amazon, affiliate income, course income. All these different income streams have different tax benefits. So if you guys have any questions, message me. I will do it on a recorded line. I'm probably not going to do that publicly because there's going to be too many questions. So just keep it private. But it's not Mark, but I do recommend Mark, not another CPA. The reason why I didn't go with Mark is just because I didn't want to bombard him with a weekly call because he's just one person. I went with an accounting firm. So I went with a firm. Your wife is asking about how to hire a VA. So if you were to go to Upwork.com, if you go to Upwork.com, what I would recommend is write the task that you're trying to get a VA to do. And then put up, if you want to attract the most people, put some ridiculous hourly wage, like $100 an hour. And thousands of people will apply. And they'll ask questions like, what do you mean you want us to list on eBay? What kind of software do you use? What kind of things do you sell? What's your process? Show me your store. So all these questions will help you whittle down a job description so a virtual assistant can do it for you. Do I list down the names and prices of every item I bought in bulk? 100%, every single item, line by line. You do not need to do that. I just do that myself. Since I now am sourcing more expensive items as I get more money, I don't have as much of an issue with that. When I first started and I was buying bulk junk, it was much harder to do per line accounting because it was like 100 items for $20, right? So I just did cost averaging at that point. Jude said Mark is very good. Agreed. For my purposes, since I have an S Corp, LLC, and I filed taxes on my own, I just went with a firm because I'm also asking for a bunch of people, not just myself. Let's see. Is that a 9 Inch Nails? Yes, it is. I've seen 9 Inch Nails 9 times. I don't know why. I love 9 Inch Nails, and I used to be an angsty teenager, so it's perfect. And he's no longer an angsty person. He's more like a dance party guy now, so it's just kind of funny. He's also ripped now. He used to be the skinny, angry guy, but now he's like a ripped dance guy. So I love Trent Reznor. I've grown with him. Can you do tax on your own? Of course you can. I don't recommend you do it yourself because of this reason. I think that there's people who are really good at accounting and most people are not. So you should probably let somebody else that's really good at it do it, in my opinion, because they're going to find some deductions for you. Like, as an example, I don't give tax advice, but my accountant was saying that you can deduct up to $5 per square foot depending on where you live for specific types of things like YouTube, right? So it's great to work with somebody who has dealt with someone who has YouTube income, right? Because it's very crazy. And now I'm about to add Poshmark and different streams of income. So there's a lot of different things that I want to ask a firm for. Let's see. Yeah, my Patreon is open. It's at patreon.com/10K on the Bay. How much do I pay my VA? I pay 70 cents per listing. And that's on the high end. You can pay, I would say, 40 cents a listing and be fine. But again, I would rather pay more and not worry a lot about that. Don't go to a tax preparer in the mall, says Paul. Probably not. But again, that mall CPA better than no CPA. So I recommend like someone who knows about e-commerce first, right? Then actually I recommend a local person first. If you can find somebody locally that has some e-commerce experience, that's the best because you can meet with them. Susan A. Wells does offer listers. I think it's pretty expensive. I think it's $3 a listing. I consider that expensive because for me, I have found listers no problem for 70 cents or less. So it just depends on how difficult your items are to list. Oh, I don't know what this is called, but it has it so that it keeps you warm. It's cold here in Cal. Okay, I won't say it's cold. For me, it's cold, but it's only 50 degrees. What's up, Big Dan123. Let's see. Yeah, so Leah is saying she doesn't want to babysit Poshmark. I agree. I don't want to do Poshmark at all, actually. I want to have my virtual assistant do the whole thing. So the 30-minute method, I think it's okay if you are have a small store. But if you want to run an eBay business or a Poshmark business like me, I think you may need a full-time share, because I am under the assumption that what you share matters. I could be wrong. I'm a Poshmark noob, but ideally, I would have a full-time Posh sharer that would strategically place my items in certain places so they would get sold. I don't know what that means, but yeah, I guess these are called thumb holes. Do my listers take pictures? They do not. I have a separate photographer. So my photo station, I don't know if you guys can see this, is right here, right? So I also have a Last the Light highlight, which is this translucent background that goes behind my photo setting that I put down because it gets dusty. So I have 4 lights, 1 light on each corner and a lit background for my lighting setup. Sharing your own listings on Poshmark is the only thing that matters. Well, there you go. So Vault Girl's saying you just need to share your own listings, ideally in the Poshmark parties. Maybe not. Maybe just sharing to your followers is great, but I don't have a lot of followers. Her Organically Hannah, her assistant share from 8 Eastern to 4 a.m. Eastern, and it works wonders. Makes sense. Finding a CPA at Jackson Hewitt H&R Block of Liberty Tax is exceptionally rare. Makes sense. So, I mean, any person that you find at the mall probably has entry-level skills, right? I wouldn't expect a lady that works at Orange Julius to make the best smoothie in the world. She would just make a generic one that has a basic list. So if you want your tax preparation done that way, get it done at the mall. You need to work on your lighting. I also have a video. If you email me at 10konthebay@gmail.com, I will give you my photo. I will give you my photo video for free if you give me the password Panda for watching this video as a thank you. If you send it to you, but normally I charge $20 for that video because it took me it took me about 80 hours to figure out a photo setup that's acceptable for me, right? You know, you can go down a rabbit hole. You can take photos that are mind blowing, and my photo setup cost way too much money. It probably spent $2,000 on all the photography stuff. That's kind of a waste of money, but I felt a little bit obligated to try a bunch of different ideas for YouTube. So, and my Patreon members who are like, hey, help us take good photos for cheap. So I think you can legitimately make a setup with a cheap lighting kit for probably around $150. You can get professional level photos. And of course, you can use daylight outside for free or a well-lit room. It doesn't matter. It just depends on what level you want to go. I'm just saying professional, high-grade photos for $150 if you really go that amount. It's 10konthebay@gmail.com. You could also go on to my in the link below and buy my 30-tip book, which includes these 30 tips, like the number 5 today. And inside of it has the photo video for free. So that would be a great thank you if you want to check that out also. So Wimpy Whistler is not familiar with Poshmark. So people say that Poshmark's like babysitting because you have to share listings. It's not just list it and forget it. Now, I do think a little bit of it is listing and forget it, because I'm using Poshmark like I do eBay, which is I look at it from a buyer standpoint. And so, for example, I like Lululemon for men. So I went in there, I said Lululemon polo. And the polo that I like is the tech polo. So I typed it in, and there are only 5 tech polos in my size on Poshmark. So it doesn't matter what the ranking is because there's not very many of them. If you were to share that listing every day, it might move from the 5th rank to the 1st rank, but you're going to look at all of them as a buyer, in my opinion. So I think it's just it's more important, just like eBay, to list good stuff. People will find it. I started a Poshmark account yesterday. I mean, I'm sorry. I started it in November, but I listed my first items yesterday, and I already had a sale yesterday. And I'm tempted to list all night because I want to have a sale every single day on Poshmark, just like on eBay. I haven't blanked on eBay since January 9th of last year. I've had over a year of at least a few sales actually every single day. So, but in January 9th, when I started eBay, I was listing 40 items every single day. I was working at my Facebook job and listing 40 items a day. I did that until I went full time, or sometime around March when I went full time on eBay. I went full time around the time I was making $2,000 a week. At that point, it was like, okay, $2,000 a week is safe. It's way more than my bills. Then I transitioned into full time and I worked on some other kinds of revenue streams. But I don't recommend really you quit your job until you're making $2,000 a week. I mean, depends on where you live. I'm sorry, I missed the question. There's a brand new limo studio lights on Amazon for $60. Yeah, you can use limo studio. I have that kit. I have every kit. I have the LED high end all the way down to the Amazon $60 limo studio lights, which is more than sufficient. If you have a few different adjustments in your setup, you can make basically perfect photos with a $60 light kit. And I recommend a drafting table like I have that you can adjust the tilt because it'll save your back. My photographer now can do 50 photos in a row without taking a break and without feeling any physical fatigue. So he's now doing between 1 and 4 sets of photos a day, depending on how much work I have for him. And that's what's up. Does the VA decide the pricing of my items? I do that when I buy it. So when I purchase the item, I tag it with how much I want to sell it for there, and then the VA just enters it in. So I don't make any purchases right now without knowing what I want to get for it. So I think the sourcer's job is the person that prices it. Let's see. Paul doesn't want somebody preparing his taxes that was in charge of his Slurpee machine. I would agree. Don't hate on Slurpees, Paul. That's very rude. You need to be respectful to Slurpees in all drinks. But yeah, I agree. If you don't necessarily want an entry-level person handling your taxes unless you want entry-level results. Let's see. You want to get into men's clothing. I think it's, clothing is one of the most and I might even include a note that says, I'm a dude that just wants to get you the best deal. And if you want, I don't know, actually, I don't know how to present it properly. Maybe someone who buys something wants a pink piece of tissue paper. I'll experiment with it, but I feel like I don't want to add that because it's an extra step, but we'll see. No Poshmark in the UK. That sucks. It'll get, I think it will eventually go global because they just raised another huge round of financing. So I'm confident they're going to be around for a little while. You had 50 drafts disappear. Yeah, so I think they're gone for forever. To avoid drafts disappearing, I would add some photographs. I have 325 drafts right now. So and they never disappear. But eBay only guarantees 20 drafts, I think, if you look at the FAQ. So don't leave drafts in there, just launch them. And my new system, ideally, I don't have any drafts. I just create a listing, add the photos, done. And that's one thing I like about Poshmark. They don't allow drafts. So you just do it. So Girl on Fire is asking why tech is so successful with simple photos, because consistency is the most important thing, and his photos are bright enough. So in my reviews of people's photographs, the most important things are consistency and brightness, clarity, right? You want to see what the item looks like. His items also don't over represent the item because they are very average photos. They're in my opinion, 6 out of 10. And He doesn't ask expense super high end prices. He just like maybe $1 over the market, and his feedback will sell for him. But his store looks like a store, even though the pictures are taken on the ground, which a lot of people frown upon, right? But he's one of the only sellers I know at that type of a volume, and a lot of it is consistency. So having a dedicated area, the fact that every single photo is taken in the same place is a big reason why he's successful. If you move around, it's very tough. So right now, obviously, I've been making a lot of changes. I went from only about 400 square feet to 1,200 square feet. I've been trying in different categories, different size items. It's tough. If you sell the same thing over and over again, you can get super good at it. You're not a fan of Limo Studio. I use a Savage Light Kit, and I'm going to recommend that only. Just get the best from the beginning. But again, some people can't afford that. But I just think I have all the crappy light kits, and now I'm giving them away. So like it's not even worth it for me to sell it and deal with the fact that they may not be bright enough. And that's mainly the thing. You want to get lights that are bright enough. And I think you can get a crappy light kit with an expensive brighter bulb, but it may set your house on fire. So don't listen to me. I just got the full setup because I think LED works really well. Jude uses an app called Color Story. I like that. Maybe I'll check it out. What's up, Wade? Thanks for sticking around. If you guys haven't checked out Wade's channel, Wade's Ventures, go check it out. Wade's a really good guy. We're going to do a series soon on leveling up. He's trying to build about $250,000 a year revenue eBay store, which is fantastic. I think that's where you guys should be. $12 backdrop from eBay. Word. So $60 Limo Studio light system, $12 white background, done. $72. Let's see. My photographer, I pay $1 an item. And let's see. When you're making a listing, do you use button front? I use button. I don't use down or button front. I just put button. I don't put front or down because it's confusing. Some people think button down is the front. Some people think button down is the collar. I just avoid that word, and I don't. And so I just put button shirt, and I use the words like collared, sizing. I'll put both 15.5 and medium. So 15.5 medium. I would rather put MED or M instead of down or front, because I feel like some dudes search for medium dress shirt, some search for 15.5 dress shirt. I just do it the way I look at the search rankings that pop up when I'm typing in search for anything on eBay. I see how people search, and then I guess. So also, the reason why I'm talking about building habits is because you are whatever your listing habit is. So Tech has listed around 70 items a day for a decade, right? So that's you can do the math. It's a lot of money, and it's put him in a good position. But how many people can do something consistently for a decade? Not very many people. Usually, people who do that have Olympic level results. So you're just an average of your habits. Let's see. You're doing 1.5K a week on eBay and clothing, and you have a full-time job with a pension and upfront healthcare. Damn, that is awesome. But yeah, I would recommend $4,000 a week on eBay before you quit your job. 1.5 to $2,000 profit. Maybe you'll check it out. Paul says Limo Studio is entry level. Exactly. So that's just how it is. Like, don't use a Limo Studio light kit and expect more than entry level results. It'll get the job done, but like if you start getting soft light boxes, I have 4 soft light boxes. You can start to get really even white, really even bright light. Team Cermac TV trying to build 500 replenishables and 500 thrift items. That is amazing. I'm trying to build 100, not even 100, 10 replenishable items, 10,000 random items. 10 replenishables would be enough. The 10 by 10 by 10 rule. 10 items that sell 10 times a day for $10 profit. Am I going to show the transition to the large space? 1, 2, skip a few. 8,000. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'll probably talk about it more. But basically, I got a hard liquor machine right here that dispenses hard liquor in case of YouTube haters. I just get my drink on. Just kidding. But I do have a hard liquor dispenser that I need to hook up. The transition was relatively straightforward. I just added a new shelf for every like 300 listings. Yeah, I know. Wade's videos are amazing. I just barely upgraded to better equipment. Wade's been doing good equipment from the beginning. I've been potato quality for the majority of my YouTube career, so I'm slowly upgrading to Wade's level of producing actually good videos. Let's see. What do I put the jeans pants sizes? I put the jeans pants sizes at the end of the title for me. Yes, I consistently shop stores for the identical items at this point. I'm looking for the same thing over and over and over again, and it just makes speed a lot faster. You go to 3 or 4 more thrift stores and get the same items that I'm looking for, rather than trying to learn something new. Cody, what's up? What's up? I'm gonna go to Australia this year and London, so maybe I'll visit some UK resellers. But when I go to Australia this year, we should link up, and you can show me how to resell dingo food. Let's see. What's up, Paprika's Closet? Thank you for the super chat of $2. Don't forget to email me so I can send you the photo video with the code word PANDA. If you guys are still here, please hit the like button so I can help other people find the channel. I appreciate that very much. Work ethic is insane, right? If you work a lot, you probably make a lot. So make sure you do at least like, don't be busy. Actually work. Busy is bad. Busy is bad. Yeah, if you in my link description, there's a link to my Amazon influencer store. You can go in there and check out all my equipment. I have both the cheap lighting kit and the expensive lighting kit in there if you guys want to take a look. Let's see here. Wade says thank you. Yeah, he's been doing a great job from the beginning. Wade's videos are on fire, on point. If you look at the way I do things and you look at the way he does things, just do the way he does it. The only difference between Wade and myself for YouTube is that I've made 270 videos of me rambling, and he's only made a few. So the more you ramble, the more people will follow you. It's just about consistency. Do I have a mid-level photo kit? Yes. I recommend mid-level. Mid-level would be 4 crappy lights. So 2 lights to 4 lights to 2 good lights to 4 good lights. That would be the best. When you look at the $80,000 system of I forgot the name of that company. The highest level photo kit in the world costs 80 grand, and they use 4 lights, 4 LED lights. So if it's what every single gigantic retailer uses to take perfect photos automatically. So I do not do much with Amazon, but I need to, because I'm a physical products company. So I need to utilize everybody. And Amazon did 168 billion to eBay's 9 billion last year. And I want to use the term that's nothing to shake a stick at, but I don't fully understand that term. Let's see here. I do think that it's not enough, because Amazon has the A to Z return policy, which means they take a return for any reason. So that's not enough. That's not enough. Let's see. Well, there's a lot of questions. Sorry. 30 stores a week. I think he goes to 50 stores a week. So 50 stores a week, and 50 stores a week is fine. Hustle Bee is my mastermind group. I think he's done 100 stores in a week. So I would rather you go to 100 stores and get the best item at every store than 50 stores and do 2, if you have the gas money to do that. It's true. We can keep selling stuff for the rest of our lives. Sales makes the world go round. Busy can be mindless. That's true. Gotta eliminate distractions. I agree. I'm making a listing playlist right now. So I'm gonna put on my listing jam, knock it out. Did I make any moves in the crypto? Just my brother. My brother is hardcore in the crypto. Maybe he's listening. Maybe he's not hardcore, but he's in the crypto. So I'm just gonna give him some money to handle for me. You're excited to get rich and succeed. Okay. You have your 80-year-old mom or 70-year-old mom watching me? That's awesome. That's flattering. You know, it is odd to me when I meet older people or kids that know me. Like, oh, my mom watches you, but she doesn't follow what you say. Kids are very funny. Big Dan, thank you for the $2 super chat. Appreciate it. Oh, I wanted to just mention that I think if you there's a saying, this is controversial, but whatever, I'm gonna throw it out there, that the richest people in the world are the happiest people in the world because they have the ability to have the most impact. They have the most options. They can do more. If they wanted to they wanted to write a check and, you know, really do some damage, they could fund a library system. They like Carnegie or Rockefeller or Ford back in the day. They could really do something that really would change the world. Versus if you're like broke, it's not easy for you to make a big difference in the world. Yeah, you could, you know, so I don't know if you guys agree with that or disagree with that, but there's a pretty good argument for the people who have the most resources, have the most options, and are therefore the most happy. But, you know, it's up to you guys. Most eBay sellers hide their Amazon sales. I mean, that a lot of people say that, like, I'm doing, like, because people don't believe you can make a lot of money on eBay. So they think, like for me, that I have a massive Amazon business and that's what funds. So I can talk about YouTube, eBay, because eBay is a more profitable niche. I disagree with that. If I had an Amazon channel, I would make way more money because Amazon is bigger and easier to scale. I just like eBay more. Also, the Amazon affiliates, like if I was talking about Amazon and an affiliate link for Jungle Scout, that would make me a ton of money. So I don't agree with that. I don't think you need you need to talk about eBay to make a substantial affiliate income on YouTube. You could talk about either, but Amazon is easier. I will say that. It's not easy, but I do think it's easier because okay, I'll take it back. It's easier if you have capital. So what that means is if you have a job that makes more money than you need, you can funnel that money into Amazon, you can grow it faster. But to get to your first $10,000, probably eBay is easier. If you're just starting from zero and out there hustling, eBay is better. But if you have some capital to work with, or you can reinvest, or you can stay broke for a while, Amazon grows really, really fast because you can sell all the way out. I know you guys know that eBay throttles traffic. So like everyone gets a little bit of traffic. On Amazon, that's not the case. If you have the best product for the best deal, they will sell until you sell out. They will pound that buy box until it's all gone. Your listing playlist is Scavenger Life. I really like Scavenger Life. They're super cool. What's up, Clarissa? Or Charissa? Carissa. You like, if it's like Chris, where the H is silent. Carissa, what's up? How tall am I? I'm 6'2". But for Asians, that's like 7 feet tall. Wow. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up. You're 70 and sell on eBay. Amazing. I use a white laundry basket for storage. This is my unlisted inventory is right here. I do. Let's see. You think I'm 6'4"? Maybe. Your 70-year-old dad enjoyed my interview with Prince and Rally Roots. That's awesome. Very, very awesome. You're 62 and learn from my videos. Excellent. Thank you. I have an equal amount of people that are under 18 as over 60 to listen to me, according to YouTube. So it's very odd. I have the full spectrum. Treasure Hunt's where it's at. Did I end up showing my first store? I still don't share my replenishable store, and I have a store that only sells brand new women's clothing that I don't share. So a couple different things up my sleeve. Yeah, I never want to retire from reselling things either. I love selling stuff forever. Carissa, thank you for the $2 super chat. Are resellers on YouTube hiding how they really make money? I don't think so. You can look at my Husky store, and even my Husky store is enough to live off of. So whatever you want to do, I'm hoping that I can leave my money in Poshmark and withdraw it all at the end of the year. And I hope that it's a huge amount of money. But I haven't done Poshmark enough to be able to predict how much it's going to be. But pretty excited. Amazon requires a lot more knowledge. I agree. That is true, Paul. Amazon has a lot more rules, so you got to be a little bit more. I think that eBay is the renegade. You can sell anything to anyone for any reason as long as it's not fake. A lot more rules on Amazon. Looks like I got another super chat, but I got to get to it. I don't show my subscribers exactly how I make money. I do, for the most part. Most of my subscribers know. I actually had to turn it off because people were like, okay, we get it. We know your 11 streams of income. Calm down and give us eBay advice. So, okay, I won't talk about it anymore. Let's see. Selling since 2007, but always room for improvement. I mean, there's people who've been selling since 1957, and there's still room for improvement. Charissa? Nice. Under 18. Nice. Jake is under 18 years old. What's up to my young teenager reseller friends? Smart to have more than one store. You have 3. Awesome. Amazon's a whole different animal. Agreed. Passion613, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Yeah, there are still tickets for the Reseller Fam event. So, guys, if you haven't heard about it, we're doing a reseller event the first week of March. Most of you have heard about it, but I am super excited. We're flying in 10 different people: Rally Roots, Hustlebee, Hustler Hacks. Can't remember all of them. Jason T. Smith from the Thrifting Board. Getting all those resellers in one place took a lot of work, a lot of time. Shout out to the 4 admins of the Reseller Fam group. It's a free group on Facebook if you guys want to join also. Get in there and meet people. But I think it's going to be really powerful meeting those people for 3 days in a row, spending time with them, seeing how they run their businesses. Very powerful. Tickets have been reduced to $200 for a 3-day event. That is super cheap. Well, I appreciate that, you asking people to check out my information. Appreciate it. Oh, that's true. Fake or Vero, but it's the same thing. It's sort of like either stealing from someone's trademark or selling fake stuff, taking advantage of their trademark. How much is my replenishable store producing? More than my Husky store. Green room is good too. I'm in the green room also. Wow, lots of people. All right, guys, I got to run. I'm going to the post office. I got to ship. You guys even see it? There's a small stack of packages I need to ship today. Okay, the link for the event is resellerfam.com. Happy to see you guys, but I got to roll, guys. So you guys have a great day. Appreciate your time. Appreciate everyone. Take care.